rock the place, rock the place, rock the place, rock the place.
What up, friends?
What up, world? It's your boy Jimbo.
I'm that guy, Joe.
Welcome to another OBAAT on the road. We're out here today at Wild Sun. We got Ed over here.
Hello, everybody.
He's going to take us on a quick little tour of his beautiful winery slash brewery slash just fucking sweet spot.
Yeah, man.
Rock the place, rock the place.
Yeah, absolute thrill.
So a little bit about this land and this property. When I actually wanted to start the winery, I would drive by this property in the year 2000. I was still working for Budweiser at the time, but I would always drive by, and going back to my collegehood dreams, I wanted to open something like this, and I would drive by and say, that would make a great winery someday. And sure enough, here we are in 2024, and we actually made that happen. So
awesome.
the property spoke to me. I showed it to my business partner, Mark. It spoke to him, and if you come out here and you'll see, but it speaks to the soul. The original name of the property is called Heart's Ease, which I can imagine that in 1870, when they built the original house, there just had to be a sense of calm here. You know, they sat on this property, and I can't imagine that too much changed in the last 150 years or whatever.
Yeah.
So let's take a quick tour. I'll kind of guide you around, and let's see what we've got. But the ebb and flow of the hills, the lake, everything adds to the ambiance that are here. These trees, they're over 200 years old. So they're just gorgeous. We've got oaks on the other side of the parking lot that we did a rough estimate, and they are older than this country. We came up with 1774.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Okay. Damn.
So
That's
there's a lot of history that's happened on this property.
We're walking through history. I love that too.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
That's amazing.
so we're gonna get a tour. We're gonna taste some wine. We're gonna taste some beer.
Yeah.
And we're gonna put our hearts at ease. Honestly.
All right. Great. So this house here, the original house was wood, and then they had a fire in the 20s, and they rebuilt it as this brick in 1926, we were told. The floor joists are the originals, and the foundation is still the original. But you can see, like, this house alone is almost 100 years old already.
Yeah.
So very, very cool.
Honestly, it has very much like kind of an East Coast, early century look to it. I mean, it just looks like something you would see in old Boston or old Charleston.
Yeah. Come on in. And so there's a lot of woodwork. There's a lot of handcrafted areas. For instance, the steps, and we'll look at those in a second. But I mean, imagine 100 years old, and look how this frame is, how they did it all in plaster. It's just, they really did an exceptional job. So my business partner and I, when we started our journey, when we looked at this house, somebody had bought it prior, and they made all these changes that fell into exactly what we needed, which is really weird. So I feel like destiny was calling, and we knew that this property is ours. So in 2014, when we finalized the deal on it, we opened in 2015. There are several things that happened since then that kind of contributed to the fact that we belonged here. And one of the things I want to show you real quick is something that just kind of earmarks that. So when one of the ladies that used to own this, her family owned it, she passed away. She was 94 years old. They brought out the whole family out here. And they later gave Mark this picture of her engagement ring back from the 1940s. So I want you to see this, and we'll show the camera as well. But so here's our logo, and this was her engagement ring from the 1940s.
Oh shit!
Wow. Cool,
You can't make stuff up like that.
Whoa.
You see the
That's
logo
about
on
as
that?
serendipitous as it gets. That's fucking wild.
And this
So you guys
is
have
her
the
ring,
shirt
her
logo
engagement
on
ring
the
from the 1940s.
That is
Very cool. Yeah.
It's too uniquely odd
that is
to not be to not make sense. Yeah.
That's some sort of outside force, whatever you want to call it.
I agree. So once again, the property spoke to us for reasons unknown, and we love it here. We've got a lot of passion for this property, for our products that we do. So let's continue our tour through, and I'll show you a little bit more.
Yeah, we'll follow you.
Okay. So we've got a picture of the lady that I just mentioned that passed away. that owned that engagement ring. We've got a picture of her upstairs in the bride's area, but she's on these steps from the 1943, I believe. So it's really an iconic set of steps. So anytime we have a wedding here, we try to get them on that just so you can continue the tradition.
That's right, man. That's a great walk down too. I mean, great photo, classic.
Yeah, exactly right. So okay, let's continue the tour out back. So we kind of wanted to create like the ebb and flow that the land already has. So that's why there's, you know, patios on different levels. The ground kind of dictated
Work
it,
with the dimensions a little bit.
right, but we didn't want to make it stagnant, you know, or sterile. We like the adventure that you're on. So that building there, that actually houses all of our production equipment for the winery. Below us, we call this our barrel room. So that's the wine area. We got a pavilion, lower patio. What we do plan to eventually do is do a nice area out for the bands to be out there and really kind of project out there versus the pop-up. So that's in the works of getting figured out. And then
got out today.
Today we have Johnny Littlefield,
Nice.
but goes by John Jarrett. He's down there enjoying a little break before he gets started. So you'll hear him in a minute. He's really awesome.
I really like this whole area. Not that it doesn't look like a kid could be here, but I feel like everybody's so putting out games and stuff for kids to play now that this actually feels like a place that like adults can come and hang out without, you know. Granted, I'm about to have a rug wrap, but like I love a place where
we are family oriented. Let's walk down here because you can get a better shot of the open field. And
this property. It is beautiful out here.
you should have seen it when the eclipse was here on 2017.
oh, I bet.
It was like the perfect day and such a cool experience. So we try to do small events like that, just to enjoy ourselves. And so you'll see we've got a barn over there. I don't know if you want to pan that way. Weddings are done right there at the arbor. That actually my business partner Mark made that.
Oh, nice.
He got married here as soon as we bought it, about a month later or whatever,
fantastic.
and he built that for him and his bride to get married. So we've used it ever since.
Hell yeah, man.
But just look how the ebb and flow of this, and you see through the valley all the way over there.
Yeah.
That's Festus down that way. So
Okay.
very, very cool. And, you know, adding the sun shades up there, the fans, just really kind of creates a whole new adventure. Nice ambiance.
Little garden area down here.
Yeah. So just a little soften it up a little bit.
Nice little landscaping.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful little. Your logo right there is fantastic.
Yeah, one of our guests actually made that for us. Really? We didn't know about it, and they brought it out and shared it with us, and it kind of says it all. You know, people come out here and they love it. As a matter of fact, we have several trees that are planted for loved ones lost. We have ashes that have been spread here because when they come out here, they loved it so much they wanted to be here. Yeah. So that makes us feel really great about what we're doing. So
you can put my Viking pyre right over there. As soon as
a single arrow.
Just a single arrow.
Careful, bud. So come on down to our pavilion. We'll check that out. We got a couple of parties starting early today. So
yeah, man, this is nice.
It's like a nice baby shower.
Yeah. It'll give you a nice look at what we can do. Obviously, we can hold hundreds of people on this property. We've got 10 acres. We're surrounded by woods, so we've got some nice neighbors as well. So I don't know. The community has really accepted what we're doing, and that's nice to work with them as opposed to you read stories where people are working against their neighbors and vice versa. And it, you know, we don't have any time or tolerance for stuff like that.
No,
you know?
and you're not doing anything wild, but there are always people that, for whatever reason or another, can work against alcohol businesses. It's you know.
Yeah.
But you guys have such a beautiful property here. It's fantastic that everyone around you is accepting and supporting.
Festival.
Right. Well,
you're just gonna get fish over there playing for 6 hours.
we actually might upset the neighbors at that point.
I mean, with the revenue though, a big outdoor stage.
I guess if it's big enough, we can buy new neighbors.
Hillsborough style.
So you guys do aging and stuff down low?
Yeah, we'll check out the production area just to see it.
How deep it goes down. Like, oh shit.
Oh yeah.
Looks like it's probably pretty big.
So over on that building over there, that's actually our warehouse. Okay. This is our production. See if these are unlocked. I don't know yet.
Oh, cool, man. Love these doors.
Yeah, they locked them back up. So we'll come back to that.
Okay.
So that's all storage. So we've got our wine and beer all set up in there. Come on in.
All right. So now we're getting the good stuff.
This is where all of the wine magic happens. A couple of fun things happened on our journey while we were here when we started the winery. And we started the winery in 2015, and then we went over to brewing in 2019. So a little bit about the brewing aspect. Like I said earlier, I used to work for Budweiser. Always love my beer, love my wine, but always kind of wanted to do this and then have both products available, and maybe spirits as well. We're still looking at that. But our weird story is I was playing in a golf tournament in Forest Park, and I get a phone call of a guy that was interested in investing in our company. I'd never heard of him, etc. 20 minutes into it, he tells me that he's a brewer that used to work for Budweiser, and he's part of the team that created Bud Light. And I'm like, "What? You're in."
Okay.
You should have led with that.
Yeah.
And Jim's motto is Jim Crone, and Jim's motto is I'm making better beer now. So it's one of those, and it's beer that we think that you get a lot of people out there that say they don't like craft beer.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that if they tried the right craft beer, they would like craft beer.
So
Part of why we
once
do
again,
this show,
so you want to
harp
talk
on all
So
the
you want
time.
to talk about serendipitous? You've got all of your, your logo. This place working out. We did not prep Ed for anything on this. That's literally why we do this show. Is that so many people just hear craft beer and all they think is overly hopped IPAs, stuff that you got to be super into beer to drink. When no, in fact, there are good local. You don't have to drink the quote unquote king of beers.
Yeah.
There are
Some of
good
the people
local
told me that
beers.
They don't really drink craft beer, and they've never tried an amber ale, a blonde ale,
Or for that matter, they've not
traditional
tried-
lager.
Right.
For that matter, they haven't tried a local lager. They haven't tried a local pilsner. That they're already drinking those kinds of beer, but they don't know it. They just know Bud Light, Miller Lite, Coors Light. They don't know what it is. It's beer to them. Well, that is a style of beer. There's just better versions of it out
Especially
there.
as a craft brew bartender.
Yeah.
There's people that are like, when you try to tell them, I got a Pilsner, they're like, I don't really like that, man. You got some kind of lager? Yeah, I got a Pilsner. Yeah,
We get some of that as well.
Yeah.
One of the weirdest statements that we get a lot of, and it's, I don't know why, but we do, and we get people who say they don't like beer, but they like our beer, which I always sit there and think like, why'd you ever try our beer to know that, and then have that statement, you know what I mean? If I didn't like beer, I wouldn't have tried it, but they do, and they like it. It's kind of a weird, like when I worked for Anheuser-Busch, I'd get a lot of people that would call up and they would say Amheimer. And I'm like, well, how are there so many people in the world that mispronounce that as Amheimer?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of that same scenario, but it's weird.
Yeah.
I say, come try the beers. You'll enjoy the beers. If you don't like the first one, I'll try you a second one, etc.
Yeah.
I'll guarantee it. Right?
Something.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, there's going to be something in it, and that's kind of the point of what we talk
Yeah,
about
man.
a lot, especially now that more and more breweries are doing pilsners, lagers, traditional German beers,
I love
traditional
seeing that.
Czech
We've been very
beers.
excited about that
Yeah,
this summer. Not that I want every craft brewer to be making light lagers, but for so many years, nobody would touch it. And like, why make a lighter beer that's better than the commercial beers so we can support local? And I'm not mad at anybody that doesn't like hoppy beers, stout beers. Like, hey man, if you like light lager and that's why you drink Miller and Bud Light, cool. It's not your fault.
Yeah, if
there's not too many craft options.
If
for
you're
you.
going out to the Huzzah for a 6-hour float, you don't want a double imperial IPA, right? But
that is
Yeah,
correct.
but there was no good option.
A lot more options.
Yeah, there was no good option for floating and drinking a local beer, right? You're outside barbecuing all day. You're throwing a party. There was no good option for, I'm going to be in front of the grill for the next 5 hours smoking these ribs. I don't want to drink a 12% IPA.
Yeah.
Guess I'm drinking Bud Light.
Well,
it's fun to see the scene change.
Funny to say the Bud Light, and I know my history comes from AB, but my brother, who's one of our investors, he was very adamant, like right before we started, he's like, you got to have a domestic. You got to have it. If you don't want to have Bud Light, you got to have Coors Light. You got to do this. And I tried to explain to my brother, like, but we can make our own beer. We can make a better beer.
Yeah.
And he just wouldn't get it. We got into a lot of arguments on that one.
I can see it. Yeah.
And so I can still see it upstairs when Jim brought our American blonde. My brother's eyes and like you could see the light bulb go off above his head, like, oh, it was like, yes, dude, this is what I've been saying. Yeah, it's good stuff.
You almost like you need to name it American Light Beer, just to get people to try it. And then they're like, oh, what is that?
Or better than Bud Light. I don't know. Maybe please don't sue me. So anyway, so this is the production area. Come on in here to the barrels.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, that's always a pretty sight.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I really do.
Oh. So this is actually, we used to do winemaker dinners down here, but as we grew, we started outgrowing ourselves because now we don't have the room to set up the tables, but we'd have these great dinners. And then tying it back to the beer side of it, one of our beers, and you'll try it today, it's called our Tempest Porter. And we take our base midnight porter and we age it in a port wine barrel. And then for about 6 months or more, and then there's a little port residue back in there, and it just really turns out smooth. We nitrogenize it on the end, so it's just a very nice product.
Well, this gives you guys a very unique thing you can do with your own beers.
Oh yeah,
being that you make wine, because we've had barrel aged stuff, we've had stuff aged in
barrels from wineries,
and the fact that you're able to, hey, we made a wine. Now our own wine is going to go into making our own beer.
Keep it all in house.
That is fantastic. I mean, it's
fun. It's
I
exciting.
love a barrel room. I love a good whiskey tour down in Kentucky. I love a barrel room. You can feel it in my plums. It just makes me tingle a little bit. It gets. This is why I love. This is why I love. This is why I got interested in alcohol in the first place. Not because I'm a lush and I love to get drunk, but I love the artistry of it all. I love the science of it all.
There's a romance to it all.
There really is.
There is.
There's history.
For me, it's the history. I genuinely love that it's like, this is fucking anthropology, man.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of what we drink and what we into, it's like, they started this process centuries ago, and now it's here we are 300 years later, and it's refined into what it is now. Or even other stuff, like some of the wines that we were trying, it's like, this is the same way people were drinking hundreds of years,
thousands of years ago.
It's just, it's so cool, man.
Take my own history for I have an Italian last name, but I'm adopted, and we did my DNA, and I am like 70% Irish, a little bit of English. Every single one of those things. The Italians, my namesake, the Irish, the English, they all have a history of why they make what they make. If you look at the English, their beers, the IPA, it comes from needing to make a stable beer that could make the journey from England to India. That is why it's called an India Pale Ale. It's all history. And then, of course, the wines in Italy, the whiskey.
Welcome to the podcast portion of this cool OBAAT on the road here at Wild Sun.
Yeah,
we're finally sitting down to just the podcast about beer.
We're in the fireplace room.
Yeah.
We've got a flight of beers from Wild Sun. We've got Ed. We've got Robert with us.
Full
our
panel
producer.
today,
We've got a full panel today.
Yeah, so
and
very
on top
cool,
of
man.
that, so we've got Wild Sun beers, but we also have Wild Sun mineral water sourced out of Potosi, you said?
Yes, we've got a partner down there that we work with.
So they've got their own bottled water, like spring water. This is
really good water.
Everything here, they're better wine, better beer, better water.
Even the water. Better ingredients.
Better ingredients. Wild Sun. And I hijacked the papa on that.
After a great tour, after some good wine tasting, we're here to get down to the real business of what this podcast show is.
We are one beer at a time, not one wine at a time, but I could do that every time.
Yeah.
So check out the wine section of this episode. It's gonna be a two-part because the wine tasting was long enough. I'm just gonna turn that into an episode.
It'll make the most sense.
Be sure to check out the wine.
Wild Sun Part 1, Part 2, wine tasting, beer tasting, full tour.
Water tasting.
Spirits will come up later. What?
Yeah, man.
Fantastic.
Guys
One-stop shop.
So
that's what we're moving towards. Yes, yeah.
So Ed, why don't you start us off? Where do you want us to start on this board here?
We're going to start in your right hand.
Right to left?
Right. This is our American Blonde. It's 5%. Really light, crisp, easy drinking. And it really, when we developed this, it was to get that person who's really afraid of craft beers into the craft beer category and truly enjoy it.
So it smell good.
I mean,
I love blonde ales.
That nails everything you just said right on the head. That is. That is the kind of beer that a non-craft beer drinker just pour it up. Tell them like, hey, it's like Bud Light. They'll try
it's beautiful
it's
because
way better. They're never gonna. But the color, you can trick them a little bit.
Right. Well, it's beautiful because like it's not
golden.
It's not a lighter lager.
No,
but it's still a good light alternative for somebody that doesn't. That this is not their world of beer. Right? They drink light beers. It's not actually a light beer, but it's crisp. It's smooth.
It is kind of a light beer, but like more
flavor.
I
just mean not like
exactly what
it's not
it
an
is.
intentional light brew like we brewed a light lager, but also a lot of blondes because I like blonde ale.
I do love blondes.
A lot of blondes are pretty damn sweet,
right?
And this is nice and crisp.
But that's why this falls into kind of like Rodney was talking about the blind wine tasting on the red. You just pour this up for your buddy and be like, it looks like Bud Light. You'll be fine. Take a drink. It's nothing like Bud Light. But that's how you get somebody that's like, I don't drink craft beer. That beer right there is how you get the person that says.
We've done the kind of the blind tasting, if you will, with the beer as well, because color does throw you off. The first time I had a Guinness, I thought I just drank something bigger than it really was. Great beer, but I'm like, I'm full, but Guinness is actually really light.
It is.
And nobody ever realized that. It's heavy because of the darkness.
It's a misconception on that.
Right,
and it's like, my wife is always astonished that on St. Patrick's Day, I'll wake up and I will put down 3 or 4 Guinness in an hour before we go anywhere. And everyone's like, how do you put 4 Guinness down? I'm like, if you actually drink a Guinness, it's fairly light. It's not as heavy as you think it is, but your brain has been taught that dark, thick head means heavy beer. You're drinking bread, essentially.
Yeah. Well, plus I think people's palates aren't always there either, because I feel like with a Guinness, a lot of times because it's like kind of a heavier mouthfeel, it automatically makes people think like heavy on my stomach. It's a thick, bold beer, but it's not like it just hits you and starts filling you up immediately. It is a much lighter stout.
I can drink that all day.
Yeah, I can promise you on a blind test, I doubt I would just say that that's a lager, but I would never guess blonde ale.
No.
Nah. It's crisp, man. It's smooth. I really, really like that. It's unique.
Just refreshing.
Yeah. And so
it's one of those beers you go drink. You're talking earlier about barbecue. This is one of those beers you can stop, drink all day, barbecue.
So we talked earlier about your business partner that is the vintner, the winemaker. Who does your beer, or how did the beer kind of come about?
Yeah. So long story short is do you want me to retell the story from earlier?
If you want to do the abridged version of it, you can.
Okay, Cliff Notes. So we actually have 2 brewers. One is Jim Crone. He's a former AB guy. Started at Pabst in 1973 or something like that.
Awesome.
So super great guy, but he's part of our organization. So most of our beers that we have were created by him. Now there's our second brewer. His name is Mike Brown, and Mike is my age. I've known Mike since high school. And so when we started this company, Mike and his wife, Trudy, became investors in this company. And about in year 6 or so, I find out that my friend from high school is brewing in his garage for the last 10 years, but I knew nothing about it, despite the fact that we're in the industry. So it came out. It was, we crack up about that, and I get a lot of crap. But
that's funny, man.
His first beer out of the stall or whatever is our IPA, which is our Sky IPA.
Okay.
We'll try on the next round, but it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And he's got several that are lined up, but because of our infrastructure, I can't introduce them yet. So we're working on that to expand our line. So, but anyway, those are our 2 brewers, really great brewers.
A lot of experience. A lot of traditional experience too.
Yeah,
PBR,
yeah.
like, no, get more American beer than
America.
I was just drinking a PBR last week at Heavy Anchor. Man, if I drink light domestics anywhere, it's when I go out to concerts and stuff. Yeah, the craft beer is $9 and $10 a can.
That is typically where, and that's kind of what we were talking about earlier. During the wine tasting, we kind of talked about this, and we talked about earlier was down in the storeroom was that's where there is always a place for. That's part of when we did this podcast when we started was. A lot of the craft beer people would be like, ew, you drink a Busch Light? I'm like, yeah, man, if I'm playing golf 18 holes and it's 95 degrees, or I'm floating down the Huza for 6 hours, yeah, I'm going to drink a Busch Light. because, you know, that double Imperial IPA ain't going to cut it. I'm not having a stout right now.
I'd be drinking, right?
I'd take this blonde on a float trip.
Yeah, exactly. This is a float trip beer.
I actually probably shouldn't have finished it because I
come
bet
back
as
to
let it warm up a little bit. I bet that flavor comes out more.
So,
Moving
to
on.
the pink.
All right. So this is a fun beer. It's very unique. And when I talked to the brewers about, like, when I tried it, it just kind of struck me differently. And I said, what is this? You know, like, what style is this? And they laughed. So this was like an experiment that went right.
Nice.
And what you'll find in this product, it's also very light, very crisp, very nice after cutting the grass, stuff like that. But just at any point, you know, I drink it year round because I find it really nice. I get hints of grapefruit. I get hints of lemon on the backside. Some people pick up orange.
My first note on the nose was lemon. I go, oh, this is going to be,
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a strong lemon citrus
Ooh.
without being tart.
You know what? That almost reminds me of a Radler without being a Radler.
Correct.
Or summer shandy.
Yeah.
Or that.
That's a very
the
good
game
point.
that we played
Yeah.
at. Like, what is this? Yeah.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
It's just a nice, unique product.
Yeah, you just took a bike ride down the Katy Trail for an hour or two, stop off, grab you one of these.
That's really refreshing,
You
man.
drink when you're thirsty.
Yeah.
It's really refreshing.
But I don't want to drink water. I want to drink beer. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, it finishes nice.
That's
It's
all.
got good lemon flavor. It's good citrus flavor too.
And what's the ABV on this?
This is 5.4.
Okay.
Really?
Okay.
It doesn't
So good.
taste that
That-
sweet.
well, that's
very-
good because any higher and this thing would be real dangerous. Because, like you said,
Easy drinking.
Yeah, the citrus it's got layers to it because I get a lot of lemon, but then once it goes down back into your palate, it's like I can see where some people say like orange.
Or grapefruit.
You know, grapefruit too. Kind of like when you smell the peel, you know, the rind.
yeah.
Man.
But that's cool because it's real citrusy without being like tart or sour.
Right. And it's not
Yeah, there's
overly-
no-
it's just
there's no
kind of a
pucker.
clean citrus
Yeah.
aspect to it.
Yeah,
That's
there's
what
no,
kinda does
there's
remind me
no,
of a
there's no
Radler.
pucker to it. It's
Right.
just
But real
you're getting the
citrusy
best
though.
parts of the citrus and not the worst parts.
So I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure traditional Radler, the way they started, was literally just adding
It's lemon.
juice
Yeah,
and
it's
flavor to the beer.
so a Radler and a
Now-
shandy is half beer, half juice.
Now, like the one we're going to do pretty soon, now we got plenty of brewers that like it's brewed first and then the fruit's added and
Yeah.
then filtered. But I'm pretty sure like the traditional was
Yeah.
like literally just like diluting it down with some
Yeah,
juice.
it was.
And
Because a lot of beers, especially in Germany, were higher percent. You needed something for the summer, so they would take a traditional beer and they would
Yeah.
cut it essentially with a citrusy juice to give you a nice summer drink that was to a degree hydrating.
yeah,
You know,
But I can see
we're
where-
going back now to where potable water wasn't necessarily a thing. You're drinking beer because the water's not
Safer.
healthy.
Yeah.
Way safer.
You know,
but I see like where you're going with like, yeah, it kind of does remind you of a Radler. It almost tastes like, did you squirt some actual lemon in this before you served it or something? You know, like that's
We did not.
pretty cool.
and you
I
guys
like
don't-
it.
you
It's
don't
got
you don't
that much
traditionally garnish it
citrus.
with anything. No,
Nah, you don't need
You
to.
don't need to.
I mean, you know, something might complement a little bit, but
Yeah.
no, I like it.
And
It has all
experiment it
those
for fun,
hits.
but we
Yeah.
don't normally serve that.
Oh, I like that. Now, what kind of food do you serve? What kind of foods are you serving here?
We've got a whole
Lemonade.
variety of pizzas, burgers, chicken salad, pesto bread is dynamite.
Oh, shit.
So very easy stuff to make for you. If you wanted to bring a picnic basket, people are allowed to do that, which we get a lot of compliments. That's really nice for them because we can't predict what you're hungry for that day. So
Yeah.
we made sure that we allow that.
That's very
But
cool.
we sell a lot of food because our food, even though it's simple, is really good. You know, and we put the same passion behind our food as we do our products.
Do you make your food to pair with your wine or beer?
To certain degrees, yeah. There are a variety of items that we have. We have a chocolate cake that pairs awesome with the pork. You know,
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So this will probably go good.
I'd be down.
Burger.
Oh, yeah. And our red goes great with the burgers, too. I do that all the time.
This is a good all-around summer brew, man.
Yeah.
You can have this munching on fruits. This could be like, you know, hanging out at dinner parties, charcuterie foods everywhere. You know what I mean? You could have like a good like tropical fish.
I mean, this
a salad.
To me, Joe, this immediately reminds me of the random cooks you and I used to do.
Yeah.
Just get the grill fired up, throwing a steak on there, throwing some pork on there, throwing some shrimp on there. Like, we would just go to the store. One of our favorite things to do in the summer before I got married and had to have other responsibilities was we'd go to the grocery store and we'd pick like 5 different things we just want to throw on the grill, and we would just
See, and I think this complements it all.
Yeah.
Without overwhelming.
Yeah.
You know
I mean,
what
I can see this going good with some red meat.
Yeah.
I can also see this going good with fish.
Yeah, 100%.
Chicken.
Yeah.
Like this would really even pork. Like,
I bet you
agree.
you could marinate fish and it'd be pretty damn good.
Yeah. Some fish tacos.
Yeah, buddy. I'm with
All right.
it. I'm with it.
So this third one
Moving on to red. Yeah. Okay. So this is called our Sunset Red. And what you're going to get on this one is 5.2% ABV. But you'll get hints of chocolate, coffee.
Yeah.
That's a deep
malty.
amber.
All right, Joe, before you take a sip of this, that color to the flavors is going to throw you through a loop a little bit because you don't. Exactly what he just said is what I just tasted. But this is another one of those beers. We've had some of them recently where, like, you're not expecting those
This looks
flavors
like it's
from
gonna
that
be
color. See, this to me, it looks like it's not going to be,
light.
you
It's
know.
nice. It's easy. Yeah.
It's got this deep, beautiful amber color when you hold
That
it. to the light.
chocolatey flavor in there is not. Yeah, but that chocolatey flavor, you expect something even darker
Beautiful.
to get that flavor,
Oh,
right?
man.
When I get that
The
much,
roasty bitterness that creeps up at the end.
that much chocolatiness, I'm expecting it to be black.
When I see
And
robust
that beautiful
on a
red
beer,
color is.
and it doesn't have that roasted, thick, malt, strong taste, like that robust shit out of
So-
here. I hate when I see that on a can and then you sip it and you're like, that's weak.
So to me now, the wild and Wild Sun is y'all do some wild shit here.
Yeah.
Like just stuff that you're not expecting. You know,
Yeah.
the crying rock wines to this ruby, this deep
Yeah, none of these
ruby red beer that
none of
tastes
these
like
beers
chocolate.
are typical.
Are you guys soccer fans?
Yeah.
So we used to be a sponsor when before MLS came in. It used to be SDLFC.
Yeah.
And the Luligans were big fans of the Red. So I worked a lot with those guys, and they just love this stuff. I love this stuff. So yeah.
And you guys let UCBC steal them away from it. Or no, is it
we're not rich.
Second shift.
is it second shift the Luligans, the Luligans? Yeah.
I love
I'm gonna argue
how,
with them next time I see them.
like
Traitors.
the roasted malt bitterness
Great
hits
guys.
you
Oh my God.
instantly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like right away. Like, yeah, for people that don't like real malty beers, all right, fine. It's a big flavor up front. Maybe you won't like it, but I love that about it. And it doesn't last long. Like it hits you real hard and then just kind of
Because and much like we've talked about it, some of those stouts and porters, not even the sugary ones, but that malt that just lingers too long and just you wind up having too much malt flavor back end.
Yeah, man, it's
it
pretty
dissipates
cool.
beautifully.
That's a good fall beer too. Because all the fall foods would be good with this,
Exactly.
Even a
And-
pie, pumpkin
And are you
pecan
guys
pie.
open year round? What do you have?
Yeah, we're open year round. We extend our hours on Fridays, May through October. So we have Sunset Friday nights here, which is really awesome because it changes the whole perspective, from the daytime.
Yeah.
And then you see the nights with the lights are shining, the moon's shining, all that.
Nice. Yeah, you guys get
It's
real
a whole
stars out
different
here
feel.
too.
Yeah.
We don't get real stars in St.
No, we don't. But I certainly know one of the first date nights the wife and I are going to have after the baby comes because, this place is beautiful, but also she's been itching to drink something.
She'll love it.
She'll take a sniff of my sugar. I'll crack a beer. Can I smell your beer? Just a
Me
sniff.
and Isla will babysit, so y'all can go to the winery.
We've got some customers that have been coming down here since we opened, and then she got pregnant, and I want to say the baby was like a week old, and they brought the baby out, and now that baby is like 7 years old or whatever, and they've been coming ever since. I mean, we're watching
The
the
kid's
cows
just
grow.
at home here.
That's fantastic.
I love it, man. I love it.
Oh man,
I absolutely love this brew. This is right in
This
my
would be a
wheelhouse.
really good fall beer next to a fire.
I like hops.
so far, we've only had 3 beers. This is my favorite so far.
We're hopheads. We
Just-
like IPAs a lot. I do like hops. But over the few years that we've been really at the show, really the last 2 years, we've been dedicated to it, and we really try to learn and get better and research and stuff. I have really gotten into malts, man. Malty beers are probably my favorites, and this is just great. I love that. Like, yeah, it's got like that roasted, strong, bold malt taste right up front, but then it just kind of fizzles away.
Do you guys do any seasonals like an Oktoberfest, a Mudson?
No. So the way that we've got a lot of growing to do, which is cool and fun. We're looking forward to it. But right now we have an array of 6 beers, and that's our lineup. And as we kind of grow and we can build some of the infrastructure, then we're going to expand that. We have at least 4 to 6 more beers that are ready to go. I don't have any place to store them or et cetera. So,
Gotcha.
So we're still developing, but all these are doing really well. So I don't want to take anything out of the line.
No, man.
Right.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
No, absolutely.
The 3 that I've had for would not take any of those.
No.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I mean, different strokes, different folks, different times of the year, kind of thing. Like
Different moods.
Different moods.
No, I do like that attitude though, because how many, especially in St. Louis, some of the bigger names that we've discussed earlier, they love to put out a brew that you get once, you love it, and you never find it again. And that is a very big irritation of mine, because if I like something, I want to have it again. I don't like being teased with something that's fantastic and then
Or like
okay,
a lot
like
of
that
people,
once.
a lot of
you
people
know.
make a series,
Yes.
and that's cool. That's great. And all the different beers they make in that series are all related. But there was one in that series that you loved, and they never make it again.
Yeah.
So we're going to the dark guy.
I'm going to the
Is this
dark
the porter?
here.
Is this the porter? More beer issues going on there. Sorry.
Oh,
Don't worry about anything. I can always cut.
It's the
Keep
business,
in mind,
buddy.
I can always post.
She's having trouble with the nitro. So we already have ours, so we're good. I don't worry about anybody else. All right, so this is, we call this our midnight porter. So you're going to get more of those chocolate notes, those coffee notes. Jim did a really nice job on this one. This is actually one of my go-tos.
As soon as I saw the menu, because I told you I've had the Sky and the Citrus before, because it's canned and I find it plenty of times. As soon as I saw the menu, that's grabbed my attention. I was like, oh, I can't wait.
Yeah. That's all I got to say about that is
Yeah.
Are we gonna rate these 4? And then start
cool.
on
So
the next one?
so those
And
are
then rate those, and
so
then-
there's only 2 more to try, right? Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll go through all 6.
That's perfect.
That is perfect.
That's why I love porters.
Yeah. Nice. It just, And this with a burger also. It's,
man.
I can see that.
A bacon burger.
Oh my God.
Dude.
It's one of those things where like as a bartender, as a craft beer guy, I can be right up front. Hey, if you don't like malty, if you don't like bitter, if you don't like darker beers, fine, this isn't for you. But if you are a porter fan, it doesn't get much better. It's right up there. Like that's what you want. You know what I mean?
Simplicity done incredibly well.
Yeah, you got
That's
that
clean product.
Clean.
It doesn't taste like chocolate, like cacao nibs, but there's there's a little chocolate bean taste, kind of a little bit.
Dark chocolate.
Sweetness. Yeah.
Bitters to it. Yeah.
Yeah, that sweetness that still has the bitter quality to it, you know?
That's you, Joe. I don't have much else to say about that.
I'm enjoying your analysis, guys.
Hey, these guys are aficionados when it comes to their
I'm working on it, man.
over the years. Like
I'm telling you.
these guys are like, how long has it been? It's been
A couple of years.
It's been a couple of years,
3
yeah.
years. And I'm not a huge drinker, and I'm not a huge beer drinker. I like my beers, and I like these especially. These guys can narrow it down.
Get you going. Gets the people going.
So Joe, we've known each other for a decade plus,
At
right?
least, yeah.
We've been drinking together since day one.
Probably actually
Literally day one that we were friends. Like we used to do a thing called rum Sundays, where
man, glorious times.
I met Rob by working with Rob, but I also met Joe by working with Joe.
Yeah.
When we worked in warehousing, Sundays, because we worked at weekends only, so we all had Mondays off.
Yeah.
So Sunday nights, we'd go get like 4 or 5 different kinds of rum, and we'd go to Joe's place or my place, and we'd just drink rum until we fell asleep.
It turned into, there was a few times where we had like a full-on party going on.
Yeah.
15 people come over and stuff. And like I would cook out different stuff. We would try to go kind of tropical-ish, black beans, white
pork,
rice,
shrimp.
kind of pork, kind of tropical-ish. But I would just tell everybody, bring whatever fruit and whatever rum you want. And so then we've got like 4 bottles of spiced rum and 2 bottles of clear rum.
So
and
literally,
we've
literally been experimenting with our drinking together since day one.
Yeah, man. Nice. But at this point, from doing the show, I mean, obviously, we try a lot of beer. There's a lot of comparisons and everything. But I mean, sit and look at YouTube channels and shows and stuff, and like always learning more about beer and the process and what makes this style different than that style. Because you can have a brown ale that might remind you of a porter, but when you have a porter like this, it's a world away from, especially a traditional brown ale. So learning the actual differences, and I'm looking into Cicerone classes.
And then on top of that, we're big on never negativity, because what floats your boat's not necessarily what floats my boat, unless you're the goddamn Bog Myrtle. I knew you were waiting for that. Unless you're the goddamn Bog Myrtle.
Waiting for it. It's a running joke. I think every episode they mention it's fucking.
It's the only beer, and we won't even mention the brewery. But there's only literally ever been one beer that we tried that I was like, there's not a person in the world that would ever find this tasty. They didn't make it again. They never made it after that. So I'm pretty sure they figured out on their own this was a bad beer.
It tasted like bog water.
It literally
went to a beer.
That's why I like what you guys do, because you guys expand your envelope like consistently, constantly. And you don't get stuck in a bubble of like, I drink one product, that's all the only product I drink. It's always ever expanding. And I, when I was at Budweiser, I took a class. I'm an official beer meister. Not a brewmaster, but a beer meister.
I want that too.
And so, anyway, we had a whole class, and the biggest thing that I got out of that, because before this class, it was like we drank the Kool-Aid. We only drink our products. Our products are the best. Blah 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 blah. And this brewer sat there and told us, we tried about 23 different beers that day. But this brewer told us, he's like, anytime that you're in a new town, try their local beers, because you never know where the next flavor is coming from. And it totally blew my mind. It opened up like my vision of what I believe beer to be, because we never had products like that at Budweiser. While I was working there, it really expanded my horizons.
I love that.
So I got a funny story real quick. Let me interject here.
Yeah.
It's on topic. You said you're a beer meister.
Something like that.
Not a beer master. Okay. My dad is big into NHRA, drag racing, and Budweiser had a tasting thing at one of these events. Okay, so you go through this course, and at the end, you get a beer meister card. Okay?
Shit.
Fast forward 6 months.
I can do that.
My brother and I get into a fight. Police get called. I don't know I got arrested. Okay? I don't have a criminal record, but I got arrested.
We're going to get details on this story on another time.
I'm an intake or whatever, and he pulls out the card and he's like, beer meister, is that your profession? And I'm like, sure, dude. I don't So fast forward a number of years, I find myself in a security officer position. Like I said, wasn't charged with anything. Charges were dropped. I don't have a criminal record at all.
Convicted? Never convicted.
Never convicted. It ended up going away. And one of my cop buddies, we used to fuck around, and my cop buddy was like, "You ever had yourself ran by the police?" And I'm like, "Not lately." And he was like, "Let me look it up." And he's like, "I didn't know you were a beer meister."
Yeah, because once
they followed me.
That's fantastic.
I have found that out before. Even if you get stuff reduced or you don't get convicted, what they put in your arrest record, anybody who has access to police files will see your arrest record.
And he could see that I'd been arrested, but there was nothing there.
So like if a job,
it had my occupation as beer meister.
That's fantastic.
So it's like a job runs your background check. They won't see that.
No, the
police can.
I knew a woman in high school and college that she was a chemical engineer, and she worked for Budweiser, and a lot of the stuff she worked on was experimental, like trying to find new flavors and stuff like that. And I remember going to parties in college, like when we'd all be home from college, she'd bring a bunch of experimental stuff. And her and I weren't that close. I dated one of her best friends in high school, but there's a whole history there. But she would always seek me out and be like, "Hey, I brought some experimental stuff. I know you love this kind of shit." She's like, "Tell me which one's good." And that was always because like that was we're looking at like 2009 to 2010, somewhere in that region, maybe 2012 ish, somewhere in that range where they started buying up breweries and they started getting into trying to do craft beer. So I couldn't tell you what some of the beers I tried were that were out for a while. Some of them failed pretty quickly. Some of them didn't. Like I tried Bud Light Lime before that was out. But you know, it was fun to be have somebody be like, "Hey, I know you like goofy shit." Basically, it was like, "I know you like goofy shit. Why don't you try this?"
Just so everybody knows, Budweiser, we're for sale.
From what I understand, it was all in the up and up. I don't know. Bud Light Lime, fantastic product. Please don't
Fantastic.
Ding. What was this one called again? That's Sunset Red. Midnight Porter, Sunset Red, Wild Citrus Ale, and American Blonde. So I'm going to grab those other beers.
The red is very good.
Thank you.
Yeah, the red is very good. It's really
Red is-
unique.
yeah.
That was perfect, but I still think the red is my favorite because I like things that are unexpected.
Yeah, so
And
that's
that
what
one's
I was going to say.
unexpected.
Let me get that porter back there.
I was going to say, I'd finish those, but I still have to work today.
Do you want to finish yours? You used to go down.
No, like it's my
Somebody else is driving us home. So.
personal preference. I love porters.
Yeah.
So this is everything that I want in a porter. So it makes me feel like that's the winner. Out of this flight board, this is absolutely fuck yeah. They're all fuck yes. I like all of them, but I think that red is the fucking star.
I think that is so far the star of the show. And the reason, like I said, that is a perfect porter. I love a porter that's perfect. But I love the unexpected.
Yeah.
And that red, the color of it, you do not expect the chocolate flavors, the malt flavors you get, especially when you show the light up to it. And it's very almost ruby deep red.
Yeah, I figured the malt would be different, and I
It's
thought
not the
there might be
flavor
a
you're
little
expecting.
spice, maybe like a pale ale, like a little bit of spice on it, kind of thing. Yeah, it caught me off guard.
To go back to the porter, so we didn't talk about ABV on it, but it is 6.8%.
Okay. So still up there, but also, again,
Not crazy.
not crazy
Right.
dangerous. There are plenty of
Worth
it.
it.
and stouts out there that are 9, 9.5, 9,
It's
9.
worth a couple pints.
Well, which brings us to our next beer.
Okay.
So this one,
That's good.
this is called our
It's
Tempest
fucking good.
Porter. And what we do is we use our Midnight Porter as a base, and then we barrel age it in one of our port wine barrels with a little residual port wine in there for about 6 months. So you're going to get the chocolate, you're going to get the coffee, but you're also going to pick up oak and a little port wine aspect to it. And then when we dispense it, we use nitrogen, so we get those tiny little bubbles.
Silky smooth.
Yeah.
So is that the difference between using carbon dioxide and nitrogen?
Nitro
So you get the
or
smoothness
nitro
and the
or
small,
exactly.
I'm with it, bro.
Tiny bubbles.
Nitro.
Now, when we actually serve it to our customers, it's nothing but foam, and then they watch it cascade, and it's part of the adventure. So we pour it in a bigger glass than it belongs, and then it just kind of cascades and settles down. So,
Nitro, man.
Cheers.
Oh,
I
that's
love a nitro.
that
Cheers.
smoothness.
Sir.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers. Thank you again for the. I mean, this has been a phenomenal experience.
This almost tastes like a mix between a red wine and a beer.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
Like
Oh,
a
yeah,
wine
you taste,
aspect.
yeah, you
yeah,
taste the
there's-
barrel
I
100%.
definitely have a wine.
Which port is this aged in?
This port on this batch was our. This is our tawny port. So called
God damn it!
Icarus.
I was gonna say tawny port. I don't know a lot of wines, but like
Just
this
enough.
short thing for you to know why I know what a tawny port tastes like. Somebody gave my parents several tawny ports years and years ago. They never drank them. So when my brother and I were like 21, 22, they were out of town. We ran out of booze. We were like, fuck it, they're never going to miss these. So we cracked open like 3 bottles of tawny port.
Fucking winos, drinking out the bottle, passing it in a brown bag.
We cracked open those and a bottle of mezcal that they'd had under their wet bar for 10 years.
Oh man!
Guess who ate the worm?
Oh, this gives me like,
An old mezcal. I would have loved that.
Oh, dude. That is, yeah.
nice, man. This is a
It's got that
serious
kind of-
beer
it's got
drinker's
that,
beer.
It's got a little tartness. It's got that raisin, that raisin flavor you get from the tawny port. But then that porter is just, and the nitro
The
just
malt.
makes it so smooth.
Yeah, the nitro just gives it that body.
I think this would be the cap for someone who's a beer drinker trying to get into wine, or a wine
That's a good
drinker
point.
trying to get into
That's a good point.
beer. Because it's kind of got the best.
Yeah,
of both
that's a good point.
worlds.
If I had never tried wine or absolutely hated it,
Hated wine.
if I drink a full pour of this, to an extent, it's conditioning the palate.
Yeah.
So after you rinse your mouth and kind of cleanse a little bit, you've already like the type of tannin, the just that flavor difference between beer and wine. It totally conditioning.
I think this beer perfectly encapsulates what you do here, winery brewery.
Well, it is
Yeah.
nice.
In my
It's nice
opinion,
to bridge, the two
Yeah.
It
different
is.
divisions.
Kind of a
Yeah.
crossroad.
The worlds collide
We're
a
gonna have
little
more fun
bit.
with that. We just once again, fix the infrastructure,
Yeah,
and then we can add more elements.
The biggest thing that's punching me in the mouth, I don't know if you guys are getting that, but like you take a sip of it and then it's got this back taste that tastes like you're smelling a box of raisins.
Okay. Yeah.
I get a little raisin aspect.
Yeah.
like
I
you
can
said.
see
Yeah,
that.
I see it.
Like not like you ate a box of raisins, but this is where the olfactory is really weird. It tastes like you just smelled some raisins.
Remember back in the
That
day when you
little
were kids,
linger?
you went to you could trick or treat, and then that one old
The
lady,
one lady gave you a
the
box
one
of
old cat
raisins.
lady would give you a box of raisins.
And they're always stuck together. And they're
always
hard.
getting a
The
hard-
whole thing, you pull it out, it's one big clump of raisins.
Yeah. The trick there is open it with a bag of M&Ms and then it's like you're eating raisinets.
Do
Right.
they still have those?
Raisinets?
No, the little boxes.
Oh, yeah.
Do they?
The little raisins.
Yeah, I'm sure they
There's
do.
that store that the old ladies go to get that and the little strawberry candies.
Those strawberry caters are fucking
Yeah, but where do you
Yeah.
find them? But
No,
the old ladies always have
They
them.
just show up at grandma's house. They just show up at grandma's house.
Or the classic butterscotch with no label.
It was
Yeah,
butterscotch.
just
It-
the whole
it-
Where do they buy those?
It's the butterscotch with no label, the red hots with no label, the strawberry candies, and root beer barrels.
Root beer. Yep, absolutely. Yep.
Where do you
Like
find
those-
these candies?
Those were just the candies that were always in grandma's dish. You never knew where she got them.
Yeah, we had a lady up the street. She always had chiclets. You guys ever have chiclets?
Oh, yeah.
There's like 2 in the packet or whatever.
Yeah.
Chiclet lady for sure.
I might be one of the only psychopathic kids when I was a kid. I actually liked Necco wafers. You remember Necco wafers? Oh, dude, it's a chalk candy. It comes in like
Yeah,
a roll
little
like
disc.
that. It's just a disc of like barely flavored sugar.
It's dry. It's a cracker.
No, honestly, it's from 1910 or
I
some
was
shit.
620.
Like it's been around.
It's one of those original.
Yeah.
Where you get like the licorice, and you get the Necco wafers.
You
and
got
like,
that and a
The
hoop and a
prohibition
stick.
candies.
Like you had your Necco wafers and a hoop and a stick. And like that's what era that shit came from.
or the old skateboard that was a scooter. That
Yeah.
had like the, this is.
I don't know if I said, but this is 8.6.
Wow.
Yeah.
That does not taste that strong at all.
That's that little wine kid.
It's blended well.
And it will catch you.
Yeah.
That's
It's
why we
blended
pour
well.
it in smaller
Yeah.
amounts.
But you can't help what the beer draws from the barrel.
Yeah.
You can.
No.
It's like sometimes it's going to be a little hotter than others.
There's the
Yeah, how do you guys normally serve that? So is it like 8 ounce or 10 ounce?
like a 6
8
ounce,
ounce pour.
8 ounce pour.
Which is probably the
Doing it
perfect
in,
way to
um,
enjoy it too.
Like a kind of
We
a,
actually-
a kind of a goblet. What is it? What is the glass I'm thinking of?
Snifter.
Snifter.
We actually pour it in. This is what I was saying before that we've got like a 14-ounce glass. So we fill that to the rim, and by the time it settles down, because you just watch it cascade.
okay.
It's all foam.
Yeah.
And then it cascades, and then you end up with about 8 ounces.
Okay.
So it's pretty
Interesting.
Yeah, it
We
probably
got a
is
few
like the
customers
perfect
come
pour.
back, and they're like, "My glass isn't full."
I know.
Yeah.
They're like,
That's,
that's
that's kind of the point.
Let's use this as a teachable moment, friends.
yeah.
Hey,
Beer
we'll
foam
go back
is
to
beer.
bar talk.
Right. A little bar talk. There's
bar
this new
talk
thing
about
that's going around. I've been seeing it online. Owners are real big on it at Heavy Riff. Like, we don't waste foam unless you absolutely have to. We don't. Well, there's this like little bit of an online trend that I've noticed over the last couple months that it's hashtag foam is beer. because everybody just pours it right out. If you just give it a minute and let it settle, it's
down.
weird.
Yeah.
And a lot of your aromatics and like a lot of the alcohol, it sits in the foam. So when you get a beer that's a full pour and you've got a thick, like 1.5 inch, 2 inch head on it, that's not a bad thing. Shut the fuck up. Enjoy your beer the way it's meant to be drank.
This is called our Tempest.
I do.
And that's my hot take.
Your hot take is spot on because
And that's my hot take.
I do hate when you're getting a good beer. You ordered a good beer, not a Bud Light, not a Coors Light. You ordered a good beer, and you watch the bartender hold the glass
And just
and
pour
just
it
let
all
all the foam. Like, no.
Brings a tear to your eye, doesn't it?
I will tell you.
I mean, I understand it.
For
With
me,
the line and the pressure,
Yeah.
you're like,
Or if the keg
Right.
gets moved, and, you
Yeah.
know, it happens.
it does happen. But for many years, one of the ways I judge, I do like a good cocktail or a mixed drink, but I don't order them often. One of the ways I judge a bartender's mettle at a bar that serves it is, how do you pour my Guinness? Do you just fill it up real quick and then just hand it to me, or do you let it sit for a second, cascade, top it off, and then hand it to me as it is meant to be? I'm not saying you got to do the exact Guinness thing where they say, what is it, like 106 seconds to pour a perfect Guinness or whatever it is. No, but do you pour it and then let it sit for about 10 seconds and
Open
cascade,
up, cascade,
and then
let it
finish
settle.
it?
we actually the reason that we pour it in the 14-ounce cup now is because of that reason. Because you've got 100 people in line,
Yeah,
and then you're slammed. You don't have time to do
Yeah,
that,
right.
And so we like.
But that way you get the full cascade and everything.
So we created a whole new, like, fill it up with foam, let it cascade, you watch this, it's fun. And it really is cool. It really, and to taste the foam, make the foam mustache, it's part of the adventure.
yeah.
Man.
And that works perfectly for that beer. But when you see a bar that's like an Irish bar, we serve Guinness and they got the whole tap system right in front of you.
They got the spoon out
They
there.
got the spoon,
Yeah.
but then the bartender just kind of does one of these and
Just goes at an angle and just fills it real thin to the very top. Here you go.
Cool.
I think this is my favorite so far.
Well, we got one more.
Oh, that's an evolution, bro.
That is evolution.
Take a sip of your water before we try it.
Yeah, when,
I know you guys.
When we first started, I think you would have hated that beer.
Because like I said, I don't drink a whole lot of beer. These guys can tell you the difference between a porter and a rattler and an IPA and what goes with what. I couldn't. But yeah,
That was sort of me with stouts. When we started recording, I really didn't like them. Like, I didn't hate them, but it was just like, dude, like, I'm not going to drink a whole pint of this. I'm not going to drink a 4-pack of this. By, like, the end of our first, like, 6 months or so of us recording and really reviewing beer and trying to learn, like, trying to, like, grow our knowledge and not just, like, approach it with what we already know. After, like, it was the Irish stouts, man.
Yeah,
It was
we
right
did well, and
after-
we did those campfire
It was
pours.
after that month of March, like 4 or 5 months after recording, all of a sudden I was just like, I like stouts now. And
Yeah.
every year I'm excited
just
for it.
woke up one day like, I'm gonna have a stout.
Oh, dude, I had a
That's kind of
sip and I was
the
like, I love
once
this.
again of what you guys are doing, because you're always growing. And with my business partner, he's made wine for 40 years, and he says that he'll never learn everything about it.
No,
so
you
there's a constant fun aspect to always learning about new beers, new flavors, new tastes, new concepts.
That's one of the many rewards of working with these guys. Is I have broadened my horizons on beer and the beer knowledge just by listening to these guys talk and analyze the different beers and stuff like that.
So, friends, if you'd like to come and drink beer with us, feel free to comment.
comment,
Let us
send
know.
us a link.
If you haven't liked and subscribed, I'm not inviting you out. But feel free to comment, hit us up, email, whatever. You too could be sitting here trying beer with us.
And honestly,
which is a fun adventure.
honestly, if you don't even want to drink with me, you should still come check out Wild Sun. If you're anywhere in Missouri, you gotta come try the beers and
I
wines.
concur with that.
Definitely an entirely different
So-
winery
This is a big
experience.
spot you got here, man.
So what is this last one? I've been sniffing this last one for the past couple minutes. Just I smell the. I'm sorry. What do you got? You got Mosaic, Citra.
Yes.
Okay. I feel like I'm smelling a little bit of Mosaic. Is there Citra in there?
Yes, sir. Yes and yes.
That makes me very
There might be
happy.
some Galaxy. I'm just saying.
This makes me really happy. Those are all words that excite me when it comes to a beer.
So this particular beer was made by Mike Brown. He's one of our investors, the guy that I've known since high school, and this is his first introduction for us. Remember, he's got a whole array of new beers to try
That look on
that are
your
ready,
face.
but we've got to build the infrastructure.
Yeah.
Hey, well, I can't wait to try his fucking other beers, man. Yeah, when I say we're hopheads,
We're hopheads.
I mean that. But we've also gotten a little bit cynical about IPAs because it's so trendy.
Yeah.
A lot of people, you can tell, a lot of people are just like hopping the shit out of the beer, or it's got to be real juicy, or it's got to be kind of a smoothie IPA, whatever. Everybody's like picking a direction and trying to amplify it real hard. I mean, literally everybody, but it's very common.
Right.
So we've gotten to a point where our preference is more traditional IPA. Hop forward, natural citrus taste, good bitterness, but doesn't have to be fancy. Doesn't have to be leaning in one direction or the other. Everybody wants to juicy IPA, hazy IPA. I like those, but it sucks when you go to a brewery and you can't get just a good, solid,
And look,
all around
And
IPA.
that was the goal of this beer. We didn't want to create something that punched you in the face.
look
This is just a very
beautiful,
nice, light, easy aspect.
absolutely beautiful
Great
lacing.
introduction to IPAs.
Yeah, man.
Beautiful
It doesn't
lacing.
punch you in the face, but it has got a
Take
lot
a
of flavor.
Joe, take a big old
Oh,
drink of
yeah.
that and check the lacing on that. I mean, it leaves a
I was
beautiful,
looking at the
beautiful
lacing,
lace.
too.
Oh, yeah, man.
I mean, that is just
Yeah, like you can see those are the rings that they just sit as the beer goes down.
so. Absolutely, to me, absolutely.
Real big hot bomb, but light in body and,
Yeah.
and like the flavor like
And-
simmers down real quick.
And very perfect that we're ending on this, just because I mean this is what we fell in love with to start was a hot bomb IPA, and again, just so well done, not overly complex, not punching you in the face, not trying to be anything
Well, you know what
extremely weird.
Yeah, exactly. We don't want to overthink it.
No.
We just want great products. Nice, good, clean, solid products.
And
What
in
else is
doing
nice
simple
is-
things, you're still doing wild shit, and I love it.
We've said this before. The Sky IPA, it's real light, real light and nice, and that's
Yeah.
a very good intro IPA for people that are like, I don't like hops that much. I really love that you've got the whole opposite end of the spectrum, and I'm like, hey man, this is a fucking IPA drinker's beer right
Yeah.
here, man. I really, really like this. I enjoy it.
Once again, if people say I don't like IPAs, they'll try this. And they don't hate IPAs.
Yeah. It's not too
Right.
It's
bitter.
crazy. Yeah.
It's not
really
it's
bitter,
not real
not
floral.
overpowering.
It's not very citrusy.
It's about 6% ABV. So
Okay,
Nice.
again, right in the pocket. It's
It
not
is.
over, you know.
It's beautiful.
This is definitely an IPA drinker's beer.
Yeah,
Everything is great. I've been really impressed with everything. That blonde, really, really impressive, man. I've never had a blonde that light, that crisp. What was that second one that you said was like a Rattler?
citrus.
the citrus.
Yeah, man. I mean, just nice, just easy,
Yeah.
smooth drinking.
So let's go down the list, Jim. What is
Okay.
is there a out of all of them? Is there a fuck yeah?
Well, to me, honestly, they're all
Yeah,
fuck
I'll
yes.
give you that.
They're
I'm down
done.
to drink any of them all the time.
They're
so they
done
qualify.
so quality. They're all so quality beers. They're all fuck yes. However, if I have to pick a best in show,
I'm holding a gun to your head and I'm telling you, pick one.
so first, second, best in show. My best in show is gonna be the red. I absolutely loved that red. I'm gonna throw you through a loop here. My first is actually the citrus, because it's such a different style. It's such a random thing, and I'm not typically a Radler or Shandy guy. That's not actually Radler or Shandy, but it's so drinkable every time. And then the tawny porter.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Did it bring you back to swiping your parents?
yes, it did
beer?
actually. I mean, it's really like, that's what, see, here's the thing. One of the things is that I know a decent amount about drinking, but I also don't ever want to say some dumb shit on the internet. So that's why I didn't say tawny. Is I was like,
I don't want to
I don't want to say tawny and then him be like, are you fucking stupid? Like, no. So yeah, absolutely. Because I actually did try that, and then like I went to a store and bought for a couple of days. I was like, I'm gonna go try some other tawny porters because I really enjoyed it. That beer took me back, being 21, 22, swiping some shit from my parents, but in the best way possible.
Yeah.
Okay, so
That's
two.
good.
Huh?
Best in show.
So I did best in show 1 and 2.
Okay.
So I got my top 3.
Top 3.
Top
Joe?
threes. Again, yeah. We didn't preface this. Our stupid rating system is very Neanderthal, but like I said, we're just regular dudes drinking beer. Our fuck yeahs are our top 2. That's beer that it's like, I have to have more. I'll travel to go and get it. I gotta go seek this out. I don't care what it costs. I'm gonna go and get some. That's our fuck yeah. Best in show is just, it's,
Is it gonna be that porter?
it's kind of the winner. Best in show, I'm gonna go with you, man. The red, 100%.
Red.
100%. That's the one that I'm like, yeah, pull it out of those top 3. Just you put a little gold ribbon on it and sit over there to the side.
Yeah.
It's kind of tough, man, because I naturally lean towards this guy because I'm like, dude, that is, like I said, that is a real beer drinker's
That's the
beer.
tawny.
The tawny porter.
Yeah, it's a tawny porter.
That's a real beer drinker's beer. It's wonderful. But because of its drinkability and because I've never had one like it, I think I gotta give that number 2 spot to the fucking blonde.
Okay.
Never had a blonde like that. I've never had a blonde that I could say, dude, I'll drink this on the river.
Yeah.
I'll drink this while I'm doing yard work.
Yeah.
You know, it just, that stands out to me so bold. It's not a light lager. It's a light blonde.
Yeah.
Man, that's awesome. But the porter comes right behind it. It's on.
And
100%.
I know these are all like your children, and I know what I'm about to ask is like asking you to pick a favorite
I love them
child.
all equally.
But if
I know, right?
if you had to pick one, I will make it simple for you. One out of the beers that we've tasted, what is your personal favorite?
To drink for the rest of my life?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Okay, if you had to drink out of the beers that we drank,
Yeah. Out of the panel, what would you drink for the rest of your life?
You're right. It is like my children.
I know,
Because
right?
I
I know it's hard for
I
you.
go through like what I'm eating with. my
right,
mood that day. But I think like my everyday go-tos, I would say, is the IPA,
Yeah,
the red,
yeah.
and the citrus. That's the triangle that I most gravitate to.
Yeah.
You know what? And
Based on
that
my
works
day.
because let's be honest, if you have 6 children, at least 2 of them are disappointing you occasionally, right?
Once in a while.
Once in a while.
Actually.
So for me, the best in show is going to be that Tempest. And the
Okay.
reason why is because I kind of explained it. It reminds me of a wine, but it's also a beer. And
Yeah.
you know, if you're both, you know, if you're looking for something a little different, you're a wine drinker, or you're a beer drinker, you're trying to get into other ones, that is a perfect bridge for me.
Yeah.
My first place would be that red, that citrus.
Wait, hold on. The red or the citrus?
The second one that we tried.
That's the citrus.
The citrus. That was awesome. And then I think my second place would have to be this because I love me and
Yeah. Well,
So out of all that, everyone, what is there? I guess that would be the red or the citrus. The citrus
yeah.
would be.
Everybody said the same.
Everybody said the
was the
citrus.
top 3.
It's so
That's
well,
unique beer,
and
man.
you know, I said it. I said it from the jump when we
And it's
tried
a
that.
story that nobody understands.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah.
And I said it from the jump when we tried that. To me, the wild in Wild Sun means wild shit. They do really cool stuff here. It's such a unique beer. It's there is no style. You can't even define it. It was so good. But everything we've tried here today, be it the wines, be it the beers, be it the tour that you gave us, everything, even the mineral water, everything we've tried here today has been so fantastic. Ed, you've been an incredible host.
It's amazing. Thank you for having us out.
This has just been, fantastic. Nothing else we can say other than if you live anywhere within 2 hours of here,
It's worth the trip.
it is worth the trip. 3 hours, it's worth getting a hotel for.
Bring your ass down to Hillsborough.
Bring your ass to Hillsborough. Come check
Support
out
local.
Wild Sun.
Support local beer.
Support local. Support
Support
local
local
winery.
wineries.
Yeah, support
man.
local winery.
Yeah.
Support local beer.
You won't be disappointed.
No, it's been great, man.
And-
I love it.
So check out Wild Sun. Click, like, subscribe, follow us for more experiences like this. Anybody else anything to say?
Love you.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate it.
Brothers.
Thank you very much. See you next time. Well, folks, that has been a phenomenal episode at Wild Sun in Hillsborough, Missouri. I mean, Joe, what do you got?
beautiful time. Great tour. I actually found wines that I enjoy. Just fucking wine that I could drink again. I'll be damned. Ed, thanks for having us out, man.
Gentlemen,
so much.
my pleasure.
You got
Anytime.
anything, you got anything you want to say? Plug, shoot out there?
Yeah, I would say to anybody out there that hasn't been here, come on down. I think you're going to really enjoy yourself. We've got great wine, great beers, great people, great views, so great music, great food. So apparently everything here is great.
You want to talk about great views? Take a look at the view
Yeah.
this way. Thank you very much for joining us for One Beer at a Time on the road.
Thank you. Peace.